Welcome back. It's another episode of Part of the Punctuation. I am your host, Aaron Smith, joined as always by I guess we can call him our better half of the Bearcat Brunch, Jeff Howell, and the self-proclaimed best producer in the city, Ed Mayhall.
You come up with a new name, of a new way of describing Jeff in every episode.
Oh, I'm kind of a fan of it.
Yeah. I was always interested in hearing what you're going to say this time.
He doesn't self-proclaim, so it's up to me to do the proclaiming, to give
Thanks,
the
Aaron.
proclamation.
Here for it. I'm here for it.
How have your weeks been? Obviously, we will get to the Bengals talk, the Bearcats talk, and all of that. But what's been going on?
We have we had flag football session number 2 for my oldest starting up here this coming week with an 8 a.m. game. Ridiculous. My other boys playing basketball. They're 0-2, but they're having a heck of a lot of fun. So about all you can ask at a second.
Aren't you coaching?
Yeah. Second graders on 10-foot hoops. We're talking like 2-1 kind of scores. Like, I mean, I've lobbied to the league that second graders don't need to be playing on 10-foot hoops because there's usually like one kid on the court that can get the ball above the rim, and the rest of them have to like start shooting down by like their waist with both hands on it, like jump and throw it as hard as they can. I mean, it's not really basketball.
Who does your son most resemble on UC basketball in terms of style? UCF super fan coming off the top rope already.
My son is he enjoys basketball. He's down at the end of the bench with the walk-ons. Right. It's just where he's at, and he enjoys it and loves it. He will one day be a legend. He might write a book and have like a whole lot of people that I don't know. So. Good to go.
Ed, how you been?
Oh, great. This is great. So my son, second week of basketball, we're 1-1. They won their first game this weekend.
You're also coaching, right?
Assistant coach on this one.
It's coaching.
He hasn't scored a point yet, but man, those hands are up 24/7. Sometimes on offense.
Hey.
Sometimes on offense. These boys, so this is kindergarten and first grade, and these boys sometimes they forget to dribble.
That's all right.
So it's just running around, and they're all trying to find their shot. It's quite interesting. It's fun watching the high school kids referee these games too.
Well, the 7-year-old here just turned 8, and he's also playing basketball. So I got to go to his game on Saturday, and we have lower hoops. I think they're right around 8.
Yeah, I think we're doing 8 foot. Yeah.
No, 10 foot. Just start them young. Yeah.
What are you doing?
Corn fed out there in the country.
It's ridiculous. Like I said, I tried to I talked to the league coordinator and everything, and they're like, "Oh, we do. Like, we can't lower the hoops down at all." And so why do we have to have it at this gym? Like there's literally gyms everywhere where the hoops move up and down. If it doesn't happen here, let's find somewhere else. Because it's not fun watching kids like try to throw a ball with both hands from their weight. Like it's not basketball. It's really not.
No, we're on short courts, 8 foot.
See, that's exactly what this should be, and it's not, and it irritates me. But I tell you what, my kids know how to pass. They bounce pass very well,
yes.
And they run the motion offense pretty well. They just don't get a lot of the buckets.
Got one kid who has a heck of a chest pass. This week also, as I'm sitting on the bench being assistant coach, one kid spilled his water all over the court. So I'm everywhere trying to find a mop or something, but all I have is the bathroom, and it has the towel dispenser that just gives out So that was me for about 15 minutes trying to get enough towels to wipe up.
Make it a rule that they have to have like the squirt lids, where we're not doing that. We're no more water bottles that with screw on tops. Like you have to have the actual like
the Gatorade squirt bottle.
Yep.
That's what we got. That was JJ. He just stopped down to let me know that he made 4 baskets in a row at practice tonight. So
all right, let's get good, JJ. Way to go, bud. No, I did not take my shirt off to dry up the water. That would have been. Actually, I probably could have. I had a hoodie on. It probably would have been very effective.
But kudos on the shirt from 513 Shirts. You can get your own Team Kelly with the no Chad in the bottom right.
there it is. There's the no Chad.
No Chad.
It's not my nipple I'm pointing at. That's just no Chad.
We get it.
Actually, this is a nice shirt. It's thin. Either the arms are a little smaller, or my arms are getting bigger from the gym. I'm gonna go with the latter.
Nice.
But this is good. I like this shirt.
All right. Enough about us. Let's talk some Bengals. We don't have any. I don't know if we're doing.
We still haven't. Yeah.
All right.
Actually, I was listening to some today on my lunch break, and I think I found one.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll work on that. The Bengals beat the Baltimore Ravens.
I hate the Ravens.
They beat the Baltimore Ravens in unprecedented fashion. It was a weird way to win the game, but they do win the game. Final score was 24-17 in Cincinnati. Last game that we'll see in Cincinnati, apparently, because the NFL has no idea what they're doing in regards to.
No, that's not entirely true.
That's not entirely true.
Let's say
we could see the Jags.
Let's say the Jags win, because
another game that won in unprecedented fashion.
They're apparently capable of crazy things. So, like, I don't even know if I want to play the Jags.
Did you see the screenshots people were posting from halftime at that game when they took either took the Jags or the $1 million,
the $1.5 million the guy put on the Jags, and
I think it was 1.4.
He put it. There was a guy that put
on the Chargers.
Yeah, to win, and he would have won like $11,000.
Because you figure it's easy money. I'm just gonna walk with $11,000 because no team has ever overcome 4 interceptions in the playoff game.
Instead, he handed over, and that's why Vegas always wins.
Yeah,
man. And maybe if that guy doesn't make that bet, maybe the game goes another way because maybe Vegas controls the NFL. Who knows? None of us know.
I'm like UCF super fan. Like when I bet, like even like the free money bets, which I'm like almost all the way out of. Like when I lose those, and we all know how Aaron feels when he has some that come in close and then fail at the last second.
I took the boys to Rally House yesterday to go shopping, and Michelle got her FanDuel account fixed, and got her free $200 of free betting. She shows it to me last night. She's betting on NBA games and winning. I'm like, do you know those players? No, just seemed like it was a good bet. She's out here winning like $50 on some NBA games.
Oh.
You married a ringer and you didn't even know it.
I didn't even know it.
There you go. So back to the Bengals.
So we saw a couple different names start to emerge on the. We'll talk immediately about the play that defined the game.
What play?
The the goal line stand that ended up DJ Reader blocking 3 Baltimore Ravens simultaneously. How he did that is still beyond me. Logan Wilson knocking the pass or knocking the ball free from Tyler Huntley, and Sam Hubbard
threw a pass to Sam Hubbard.
Sam Hubbard goes 90 officially. I think it was ruled 98.
Yep.
We saw. I think the first name that I saw emerge was it was the Hubbard yard dash.
That's okay. There was the fumble in the jungle.
I like the
immaculate rejection.
I don't want anything immaculate because fuck the Steelers.
Steven's comment: tell Michelle to cash out the $50 and buy you some towels. You need them for coaching. I like that.
Can all be alleviated if you tell the kids they have to have squirt bottles only.
It's fair. Actually, this was a squirt bottle. We'll talk about it later.
Jesus, how did that even happen?
It's Gatorade.
So you're not down with the immaculate rejection?
No, I'm not. I don't like it.
No.
I like the fumble in the jungle.
Fumble in the jungle. It's sharp.
Fumble in the jungle is one I rooted or voted for on. Somebody like put them up on the Twitters, and that was the one that I voted for. But
I'm also not down with calling this the greatest sports play in Cincinnati sports history.
Well, there's some like recency bias to it too.
Right? Because when you ask me, like, if you were to ask me, Ed, what's the greatest thing you've seen in Cincinnati sports history? I would probably still say Todd Frazier's home run derby.
I was at Todd Frazier's home run derby, and that's my top like moment that I've ever attended in person.
What would you say? What do you guys, you and Aaron and Chad don't like that one?
Eric Davis, Game 1, 1990 World Series.
I didn't see that. I was 6.
Jay Bruce making that home run to get into the playoffs was
the clinch. That was good
Mary
too.
Clinch miss, but were you there?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't at any of the. I wasn't at Sam Hubbard. Like,
okay, but that's why the Todd Frazier one is where it is for me, because I was there.
I'm not judging you on that. I'm just saying.
I know. That's why.
Top,
that's why
I
it's
think,
where
I
it's
think
at.
it's. I think it's top 10 moment in Cincinnati sports history.
That Eric Davis home run. I tossed my child Mary Clinchmas. She was on my lap. He hit the ball.
Geoff said Chad tossed his child. He yelled it in all caps.
Yeah, I did. I did toss my child. But that 1990 World Series was supposed to be a laugher. It was supposed to be a joke.
Yep.
The Reds had no business. And that Eric Davis home run set the tone, and the Reds swept. For me, that's number 1.
That's fair. Maybe it's recency bias for me too. It's just if you were to ask me that, like on the streets, like, or whatever, the first thing would come to my mind is the Todd Frazier home run derby.
Well,
I guess
Reds going wire to wire and winning, the World Series in 1990.
But again,
But you can't. I don't
6
know.
years old. I'm not sure I can remember that.
The Reds going wire to wire is the like. Are we talking like?
I'm sure there was a moment somewhere in there. I was 6. Okay, I'm sure there was.
We all were.
The moment was the Eric Davis home run.
There you go.
Yeah,
I just said it.
I'm
I
saying.
know.
But then didn't Jose Rijo was really good in that series as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I don't know that there was like a moment with
it's
Rio.
just a memory.
There was a lot. I mean, you had McGuire and Canseco, and that was, or you could go Billy Hatcher going 8 for 8 to open the series. Like there was a lot that went the Reds' way.
The Homer Bailey no hitters,
back-to-back no hitters.
Yeah, I just fucking walked the guy.
Perfect game, Tom Browning.
Yeah, Tom Browning's perfect game. R.I.P.
Where we charge for waters until people complain about it on Twitter, and then that becomes a thing at his funeral wake at the stadium.
They had a wake for him at the stadium, and the Castellinis charged for water.
Well, I mean, that
until they opened the bar after it went to Twitter.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean,
the Scooter Jeanette 4 home run game.
All right, home run game. Like,
I mean, okay.
Pike the bins.
Pike the bins. I remember that when I was sitting in Home Depot's parking lot listening to that.
I guess, like, really, like, the more you think about it, like, how lucky we are that, like, there are some, like, crazy good moments.
There are
in like Cincinnati sports.
Yeah,
there is always some doom and gloom kind of stuff. Yep, that's what.
Who blocked Greg?
Chad did. That's also fair.
I'm not going to hear the end of that one.
Frazier was an exhibition, so he doesn't count it.
5 minutes. It's only for 5 minutes. He'll be back.
He'll be back. We can't forget the Cincinnati Commandos back-to-back championships.
I had actually forgotten about those.
Had you?
Because I didn't even know it was a thing.
Didn't the Cyclones win back-to-back?
Kelly
Cup, yeah. Kelly Cup back-to-back.
You had Yancey Gates punching Kenny Freese, which That'll live on in infamy.
I don't think they mentioned it this year.
Huh.
Did you just say infamy?
That's what I was trying to figure out.
Is that not a word?
Intimacy.
He just
was not intimacy.
You ever hear me the way I say tomatillos, and you're going to say that word?
I'm pretty tired.
Infamy. Okay.
He'll go down in
you see, a super fan was there when Johnny Cueto kicked Jason LaRue in the head and ended his career.
Jeez. The Yachty and BP fight, that's also a good one.
Yeah. Yep.
We should start a poll. We should start a poll on Twitter.
Go for it. You're the Twitter guy.
All right.
I'm
gonna put it out there on Twitter.
Spaces for all, like, you need like 4 selections.
Well, not a
right?
poll. I'll just put like a thread. How about that? We'll just do like a thread.
Yeah, there you go.
To
see where people
top
rank
3
it.
greatest.
The thing is like like I said, like the Sam Hubbard thing is gonna get a lot of like play right now because of recency bias, but I mean, not to like take away from it. It really has all the bells and whistles of like things that people need for those to like stick in your head because it was a huge turning point in the game. Like it's a Cincinnati kid, he grew up here, then he went to Ohio State, and like he comes back and he's plays for his hometown team, and he's huge and runs 98 yards down the field, and no one can hawk him down, not even Mark Andrews, although Mark Andrews came close. Thank God for the shoulder pad block.
And you saw was it?
Hey, Dean Blandino said it was a good no call.
He did say that.
There's people who've argued both sides on it. Regardless, Sam Hubbard was apparently yelling as he saw on the Jumbotron that Mark Andrews was coming, saying, somebody has to block him. Yeah. No shit. Why are there 4 people and no one's looking for Mark Andrews sprinting? Let's talk about Mark Andrews, who should not be able to move that fast. He should not be able to move that fast.
Well, what's crazy is, so like think about the two, like, so you got Mark Andrews and you got like Huntley was on the field. Like he knew he lost the ball, but he should have been
to UCF superfans' point, and Ryan Royer talked about this briefly last night, but you only reach like that on 4th down and only on 4th down. You don't reach like that if it's not 4th down. He should not have been reaching. It was a bad football play.
Oh, I mean, he definitely should have gone low.
I think it's inexperience.
But
simply inexperience.
And I think he must have thought that they were closer to the goal line. That obviously like none of us have played.
He had it.
But, he watched Trevor Lawrence.
Well, he watched obviously that too. But as he pushes forward, I think in his head he really thought he got a bigger push off the start to where he only needed that, and he was like, when we were watching it here, like my son, like I got a crazy good video of us like going nuts, but my son's like, they better not call it back, and then they like show like the quick overhead view where he's like he's a half yard. It was a half yard. He wasn't even close. I'm like, no, he was not. Good call there. And I guess the next gen chip in the ball said 0.6.
That's the biggest thing that happened. That's the biggest thing that happened in all of this. Forget the touchdown. Forget the win. Forget all of this.
There's a chip in the fucking ball?
When the fuck did they put the chip in the ball?
Hey, why the fuck aren't we utilizing this for first downs? Aaron, we talked about this.
It's apparently inaccurate. No, I've read about it because it made me infuriated as soon as I saw that.
0.6 yards from the goal line. The ball never made it.
It's terribly inaccurate is why they say they don't use it.
Yeah.
We're measuring where tennis balls hit on the court. We're measuring where soccer balls hit on the field, but we can't do the same thing with a fucking football.
We're letting 63-year-old men eye it as if that's more accurate than a chip in the fucking football.
The biggest news to come out of the whole game.
There's a chip in the football. Absolutely, Ed.
I've been making this point for 5 years.
I know,
I've been podcasting for 5 years, and I've been making this point for 5 years. Why are we doing this with 68-year-old men out there that aren't even wearing glasses?
Greg wants
Aaron,
to know what
did you know
Baker Mayfield.
There's already a chip in the ball. Were you aware of that?
It's just for the next gen stats. That's all it's for, Aaron. It can't measure where the ball is exactly on the field.
Why not?
Like,
if we can put a chip in the ball, why aren't we doing this?
and they put GPS on the. I mean, all the players have GPS on them. That's how they get their this speed.
All these Ravens fans are bitching that the touchdown, or somebody's bitching about it. It broke the plane.
The conspiracy theorist in me says that it takes entirely too much control away from the referees.
Oh, it absolutely does.
When you see a referee walking with Joey Bosa, interacting with Joey Bosa as he's walking back to the sideline, just talking with him, and then throws a flag because he can't let it go. Whatever happened with, or was it Joey or Nick? Which one plays for the?
I think it's Joey.
I don't know.
Okay. I think it is Joey. But just weird things happen with these refs, man.
Pat McAfee also didn't know that there were chips in the.
I have not caught Pat.
No one knew.
He was
No
like,
one knew. That was entirely new.
well, they
information. When that was tweeted out, the ball was 0.6 yards from the goal line. Based on the chip in the fucking ball, everybody was like, "Wait, did you just say there's a chip in the fucking ball?"
Yeah,
and that was when they realized they fucked up.
Well, Pat
I
McAfee
saved it
was
on
like,
my phone because it was talking about Sam Hubbard reached a top speed of 17.3 miles per hour, third fastest speed a defensive lineman as a ball carrier this season. And then right underneath that, how close was Tyler Huntley crossing the plane according to the chip of the football? And I went, fucking a chip of the football. When did this shit happen? Wait till I tell Aaron about this. I saved it on my phone so I can bring it up tonight.
Has anyone ever heard that sentence before?
No, sir.
According to the chip in the football.
The reason, and when they were talking about it, and they said why
should have told us that.
Why didn't anybody know about this? And somebody, whoever it was, like whatever talking head show I had on in the background, was like, well, because that account, the next gen NFL, next gen sports, whatever, has never said anything about it, so nobody knew. Like,
I'm not putting that up there, but Superfan, that's funny.
oh my god!
The other big conspiracy thing from this weekend is Trevor Lawrence saying,
"Hold on, Ed. Hold on. The chip in the football was not a conspiracy. It is now a confirmed fact.
Yeah, it's now a confirmed fact.
Chip in the football.
Yeah, that's
very not a conspiracy. That is a spiracy.
Okay, that's very fair. But the other thing that people are making conspiracy in football this weekend is Trevor Lawrence saying you couldn't write a better script. Have you heard somebody say that before?
Yeah,
like,
weird
you couldn't write a better script.
Well, weird things have been coming out since I forget what the Twitter account is, where they put out like weird facts or true facts or Uber facts or one of those like weird
Uber
things.
Facts probably.
Where they said that the NFL was somebody tried to sue the NFL because a Jets fan was at a game that was called incorrectly or lost whatever, and they declared that the NFL is not a sports league and should not be ruled as such, but it is an entertainment league along the same lines as the WWE.
Oh, they're entertainment now. They're World Football Entertainment.
According to the
this is even better.
I'm just saying
better, Aaron.
The jurisdiction.
I think people are making that out to be more than it is.
Sure.
There's no.
It's Twitter. What do you? Of course, it's Twitter. Come on,
just blew up on Twitter. It was hilarious.
Okay, here you go. The chips were added by Wilson and Zebra, which previously used similar tags for tracking supply chain items, in 2017.
Huh.
They weigh about 3.3 grams, adding 1% to the weight of each ball. Why do we still use chain markers and blurry goal line replays? The NFL's chips are not used to spot the ball because they aren't accurate enough with 6 inches of give or take.
So the chips have been the balls for 6 years?
Well, depending on when in 2017 they were added.
How did we just hear about this?
How has it been 6 years?
Years.
How do we go through COVID and not hear about this?
Wait,
How-
I want to know how nobody from like Wilson or Zebra, like I want to know how none of them like leaked it out, or like somebody didn't come home and was like drinking at Thanksgiving, was like, yeah, we got these chips in the football.
Yeah.
Why aren't the chips better in 2023 from 6 years ago, when again FIFA uses, they can see exactly where the ball hit at any given moment.
The
Not to
chip
mention
can
the-
only
the-
get within
they
about
put on
6
the-
inches of
yeah.
exact measurement, which is why they are not used. But
Which is
a
closer
s-
than the 80-year-olds.
but is a 6-inch differential not equally or more accurate than a person using his or her eyes? It
No.
seems like the chips will soon be improved. At that point, presumably the NFL will join other sports like tennis and soccer in using technology to determine exact measurements. This is all from Outkick.com.
Where's the Rock?
We have baseballs that we're throwing that we can see where they go in the get out of here, man.
And Jacob Feldman on Twitter.
Unreal.
He seems to be.
I'm asking the Rock right now.
All
I'm
right.
putting chips in the extra balls.
So let's get back to the game, because this has gone completely off the rails. I've
That's
lost my
all right.
mind. Chad's lost his mind.
Chat appearances are like fever dream.
Woosah. So Jonah Williams goes down with a dislocated knee for the second time this season.
But it's his other knee, I think.
Again, just saying, he's got
Yeah.
bad knees.
Yeah.
There, I got bad knees too.
Also on a contract year, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know if I'm bringing that guy back if his patellas can't stay in place.
I mean, I don't know. It's not good. It's not good.
So you are running out 3 at this point backups on your offensive line. Offensive line is clearly going to be a focal point in the draft and again in free agency, because like Scott Satterfield said in his last big press conference where he did it with the OC and DC, you have to have 5 to 8. Like, you can't just run 5 and just put all of your eggs in 5. You need to probably go closer to 8. And this got to be the same thing here. I know that you have Jackson Carman, who filled in fairly well.
He did pretty good.
Still surprised that dude is on this team. Don't know that I love that.
But
But
what though? I thought he filled in. I thought he
I-
did a pretty good job.
I'm still talking about his life off the field.
Okay. Well, you
I don't know
I mean,
what his
that-
life is off the field. I've never met the man.
We talked about it.
yeah. But
Not going back there. But
here's the deal. It's like he's on the team, and we have to have somebody at left tackle, and Andrew Whitworth is not coming back. So
no, he's not coming back. He's talking about he likes how his legs look in skinny jeans. He's not coming back.
no. So but I thought he filled in well out there, like surprisingly well, actually.
Especially
He
because
does.
he's a guard.
He does seem to. Well, no, he was a left tackle in college though. So
I'm
like that's
saying
his
the time that he has played in Cincinnati.
Correct.
He's
He was-
been a guard.
right, but his natural position is left tackle, and
Arguable. But
he looked pretty good out there. I mean, I thought he was like, there was the one play where I think he and P Ryan had kind of a little mix up. Like P Ryan like squirted out to the side, and he thought he was back
expected
there.
some backup. Yeah,
He thought he was
no,
back there to chip.
No.
But also on that same play, it wouldn't have mattered if Carmen had pancaked his guy, because Max Sharping got beat horribly on the same play, and they both. I don't even know who the Ravens defender was on that one, but they met in the backfield and kind of hugged Joe Burrow as he sat to the ground, which that's gonna happen.
So
Yeah,
now
that
you're
would-
running out. Who's left? Is it just Kappa and Volson?
Correct. No, Karras and Volson.
Harris.
Yeah,
Kappa's-
Kappa's out. You're
Kappa's
right.
out.
Kappa's rolling around
Kar-
on a knee
Karras
scooter.
who almost got into a fight on an early late hit on Joe Burrow. Glad he didn't get into a fight.
I'm here for it though. You got to protect that quarterback. You got to show him that you gonna like take any of that BS.
What did you guys think about Marcus Peters in this game?
I mean, I thought that when you punch people, when you throw punches, you get ejected. So
I
Apparently not.
also thought that was what happened, but not the case. He got a flag for it, which certainly helped. on that particular drive, they did score, but I have not seen a punch like that thrown in a game and it not be called an ejectable offense.
Was
Like,
this the punch?
So we've got
on
the
Mixon?
thing is
Yes.
they've got that like
Because there was another instance that happened earlier.
the
in the
thing
game.
where they do the like the booth, like the quick call down replay look in thing, whatever it is,
yes,
where
the
they
quick
can
replay.
if it's they don't have to challenge or whatever. That I think that's something that they should be watching for. Like, I get it, like they can't watch for like they couldn't call down and say, hey, you missed a face mask on that play, or hey, you missed this on that play. But if there's a situation where the play is over and someone is throwing punches on the field and it's shielded by other players, or in a position where an official can't see that there is a punch being thrown, I don't think it's out of the realm of like, hey, call down and be like, yo, he just threw a
Something like
punch.
that. Even if that's 2 or 3 plays later, who cares? Get the call right. If you really truly care about protecting the players, like you claim to do,
Yeah, that's different than calling down and saying like there was a face mask or there was a hold you missed,
Right.
or there was like this or that, whatever. Like, I mean, not even like some like pushing and shoving, whatever. Like let's not get crazy. But if you can see on there very clearly that he like pulls, it wasn't even like kind of like a push or like
Came
a little
all the way
pop.
back.
He pulled back and like gave him a shot right in the ribs. Get him out of there.
whether it
It's
landed
silly.
well or whether the punch landed well or not is beyond the fact.
I
It's
take you
the
back
fact
to
that-
I take you back to AJ Green and Jalen Ramsey when AJ Green punched him in the side of the helmet. Like, did that hurt Jalen Ramsey? Absolutely not. Did it probably hurt AJ Green more?
Nope.
Absolutely. Did he get ejected? Yes.
Yep.
So
I don't know. It was a weird thing there.
UCF superfan, I have not seen Jimmy Seafood piping up recently. I know that they got into it with, I think, Bangalorian. They kind of had like a little back and forth with him, but I haven't. So that's the only reason they ever pop up on my timeline. But
Who's Jimmy Seafood?
it's a Baltimore seafood.
Oh,
joint
that's right.
So Joe Burrow goes 23 of 32, 209, 6.5 per, 1 touchdown, no interception, sacked 4 times, again with a decimated line. The running game, 18 carries, total 51 yards, with Mixon leading the way, 11 for 39. Joe actually had the second most with 5 for 9, and Samaje going 2 for 3.
I really need Mixon to get a touchdown, so I could have won.
I just needed 8.5, but the line did not serve well for Joe, did not serve well for the running game, and is going to continue to be an issue as the Bengals stay alive in the playoffs. That said, the defense and Joe did what they needed to do to overcome the deficiencies in the line. What are your concerns going forward as we're talking about the offense in particular?
The line.
Yeah, I think it's obviously the offensive line. I mean, they just need to figure out a way to really play. I mean, look, they're not going to be able to come in and play at the level that the Lions played all year. They had the same 5 offensive linemen start 15 games. Like, that's gone out the window a few weeks ago when Lyle Collins goes down, and then you lose Kappa to this Ravens team last week, who whatever, and then you lose. No, and that okay. So that's another good point. Is like using P. Ryan in the backfield, like, but you can't have the miscommunications. And I get it. Like, that was kind of like on the fly, like running Carmen out there and being like, "Hey."
But they're
like,
also guys that haven't necessarily played together. I mean, P.
Yeah.
Ryan's going to be in on second team snaps in practice, so he's probably going to be running with the guys in practice that are doing this. But is P. Ryan treated in practice as the second string guy or the first string guy,
I mean,
depending on
I
what
don't know.
play you're running, I suppose.
Yeah, but I mean, you're gonna. John White says if we don't get Kappa back healthy, I don't know that we have enough for the season. I mean, did they ever say exactly what it was? Is it a high ankle sprain? Is that what it is?
He's still rolling around on a scooter, but apparently he's looking better. I know that Zach said something about him rolling a towel with his foot and that looking promising. But I don't know what the connotation
what the prognosis is.
Yeah, I don't know what connotation he's talking about either. Like, is that
I think with this
baby
line,
step?
like the thing is, like I think with this line, like I think we're okay. Like I don't think it's like too much of a detriment. I think they can still make it to the Super Bowl. I don't think there's another defense in the AFC that is going to give you what you got from the Ravens.
So I know everyone's been talking about Andrew Whitworth, but there was another member of the line from last year that is available and is still a free agent. And his name is Quentin Spain. Is that somebody you bring back?
I mean, it depends on what kind of shape he's in.
Yeah.
I think that's somebody you have to take a good, long, hard look at. Like, I don't know why he hasn't been called yet, hasn't been brought in yet. That said, if he's not, if they have seen him and he's not the guy, then I feel confident that this line is better than last year. And give me Karras all day.
Yeah, and you've got a guy in Volson who's a rookie that's been playing like out of his mind. I know, pretty sure our good buddy Dave Simone was pretty high on Volson when that name had popped up. So he's done well, and then you're just gonna have to hope that those dudes can kind of step it up a little bit. And
Sharping and
yeah, I mean Sharping is a mammoth individual. Carmen,
Man Mountain.
Yeah, and maybe this helps the run game out a little bit because Carmen
Not this past week.
He can. Well, you're going up against a pretty damn good defense there in the Ravens. So like, I mean, as much as you want to, we like to not like compliment the Ravens or anything like that, or any divisional opponent for that matter. Like they have a really good defense.
And that brings me to my next point, which is the Bengals are going to be playing the Bills this week. Again.
I think our defense is better than the Dolphins, and they got to Josh Allen 7 times.
I think that the Bills' defense is not as good as the
not.
Ravens' defense.
Well, they're not at all.
I think we match up very well with the Bills in regards to winning. The only downside is that this game is being played in Buffalo as if Buffalo won when they were here. It's a little frustrating that game could have been decided and that it's not being played at a neutral site in case Cincinnati had won.
True. Yep.
Any thoughts on that?
I mean, it's ridiculous, but I'll tell you this: Joe Burrow is 8-0 whenever the game time kickoff temperature is 40 degrees or below. So let's go.
8-0.
8-0.
Great stat.
Send us to Buffalo.
That's a great stat.
What's Josh Allen's?
No idea. I just heard it on the it was
Josh
on,
Allen likes churros.
It was on the radio that he was 7-0 going into the Baltimore game this weekend when it was 40 or below, and it was like 31 or something like that.
But this is a long-term thought. Don't go 4-4 to start the season.
This too.
You win one more game, you're tied with Buffalo, even without the outcome of that game in Paycor Stadium. They lost 4 games at the beginning of the year. That 2 or 3 of them they had no business losing.
And how much of that goes back to what we talked about way earlier this season with not playing your starting line together in any of the preseason games.
You right.
Some of that is they had Collins and Kappa both dealing with injuries in the preseason, but get the other 3 guys out there, like whatever the case may be. But the larger point of this being, and I think you guys will agree with me, going forward, if you are going to compete at the top of this conference with the Chiefs and the Bills, you cannot sacrifice games at the beginning of the season.
Can't sacrifice games anywhere.
Well, right, but I'm saying they've taken this approach. We're not gonna hit the starting line at full speed because we want to be full speed at the finish line. You can't guarantee that any way you slice it, right? They made it all the way through 17 weeks and didn't really have any significant injuries. And now they're down 3/5 of their starting offensive line going into the second week of the playoffs. You can't bubble wrap yourself on when this shit's going to happen in the NFL. You have to understand, if you're going to compete with Kansas City and Buffalo for home field advantage,
Yep.
you have to start hot. You cannot get to the bye at 4-4
And have to
and
go
hope
8
that
and,
you,
and have to
that
go
you
7
roll off
and
8-0,
0.
right?
Yeah.
And you still ended up third, Jeff. They went
Yeah.
8-0 down the stretch and finished third.
Yeah.
If you're legitimately going to be,
Technically, you were hoping for 9-0, but obviously,
well,
things
yeah,
happen.
but this is what happened, not what you're
But you
hoping
can't-
for. But like,
Yep.
this is what happened. You
No
have
one
to
expects
start.
no one expects to not play a game. That was bananas. Something
okay,
the NFL
yes.
has never had to deal with.
Yes, okay. Like, yes. My point being, 4-4 is just as much a factor in why they're not playing at a neutral site or getting a coin flip for this game as the Buffalo game getting canceled. And long term, if it's going to be, and watch out for Trevor Lawrence, because he's going to be in this picture.
Oh yeah.
He's going to be in this picture
Fair.
with that coach and where that franchise is headed. You've got 4, maybe 5 teams that are going to be competing for the top 3 spots in the AFC. Don't give away games in August, September, and October, and just count on Joe's going to save us late.
Urban Meyer, you fucked up.
Oh, big time. But yeah, big time. But like, that's the reality of where this AFC is gonna be for the next
Oh, the AFC
8,
is
10
nasty.
years.
Yeah. The AFC is ridiculous. The NFC is just nowhere near the same level.
No, if you look at the 4 starting quarterbacks that are remaining in each, I mean, you have what, Dak, Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy.
Yo, the Brock Purdy story is awesome.
Brock Purdy,
Yeah,
the
for sure.
Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, and who am I missing? NFC.
I don't even know who else is left. That's
I mean, the
pathetic,
Eagles,
though,
the
really.
Cowboys, and
Yep.
San Francisco are kind of the cream of the crop there right now, for sure. And look like they have teams that are built for some longevity.
Danny Dimes with the Giants.
Oh,
He looked really good. Really good.
so
And then but you look at those 4 and you
And then
compare
you
them
look-
to
They
you
certainly
compare
are not Burrow, Mahomes, Allen,
and Lawrence.
Lawrence, and there's a couple. Herbert. Like,
Yeah.
if they get the right coach,
trash.
yeah, I don't think
Garbage.
that's. I don't think that's a Herbert problem. I think that's.
Zach
Overrated.
Wilson.
Overrated.
I'm excited for this season to be over so that we can rank quarterbacks again, Aaron.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
Okay, Bart Scott.
That's fine. That guy
Oh,
sucks.
that's right. Aaron has been called Bart Scott and Baker Mayfield tonight.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm mad that Ed's boy Sir Yacht met Baker Mayfield randomly.
John
Sir
White
Yacht.
brings up a point.
Oh, that guy.
Jacksonville has Bengals last year vibes.
I don't remember who was talking about, if it was Dave talking about that or if it was one of you guys. Somebody who said that in this space, in BCJ space. I'm assuming Dave.
It was probably Dave. I
Somebody-
can see it. I mean, I could see it. Well, especially when you're like, I mean, you were literally like, people were like betting millions of dollars because you were down so bad with a half to go, and then you come back like,
if you have fuck you money to where you're betting $1 million,
yeah, I know,
$1 million plus, and lose
just to make 11 grand.
to make 11 grand, nah, I can't get down with you.
It's
That ain't
crazy.
me.
It's crazy. Oh,
But
whatever.
in any case, all right.
Can we also go like I know that we've just kind of bounced around on the like talking about Bengals or whatever, but the Sam Hubbard play, right? So I mean, if you start walking it backwards from like Hubbard scoring, and then you got Marcus Bailey like putting the block on Mark Andrews. You had Von Bell who shoved Mark Andrews at one point and was even saying that he like was yelling at Hubbard to like pitch the ball back to him because he was like he wasn't sure if he was gonna have enough steam to make it.
He probably wasn't either.
All the way back to the pile where I believe it was Pratt and like Pratt stood him up and Logan Wilson punched it out. But before that even happens, if you go to the plays like before it set the whole thing up was Jesse Bates not giving up on the Tyler Huntley run.
Hawking him.
Like he comes from out of the screen and hawks him down at like whatever it was, the 2-yard line.
That might be Jesse Bates' most important play ever as a Bengal.
I mean, and he's had some good ones in the playoffs.
Agreed.
Last year and now this one, like
with the tip in the
yep,
was it the AFC Championship, right?
Yep, where he tipped the ball back to
Mahomes.
Yep. But that play there, you've got a guy who everybody wants to talk about the contract. He's on the tag and he's not really playing as hard as he was, and like whatever. Like
in playoffs, I think everyone's playing as hard.
But
as they can.
you see this guy like come flying out of nowhere, and now mind you, I believe it was DJ Reader was tackled, like full on tackled, that blew open the hole. So like that was ridiculous. That wasn't called, but whatever. Huntley had an easy walk-in touchdown, and Jesse Bates smashes him in out of bounds, keeps him from scoring. Then the defense locks down, makes a huge play, and the game spins around. But like, I feel like sometimes that kind of stuff gets lost in the glory and the shine of this awesome punch out, scoop and score 98-yard touchdown bonanza. But you had that was a pretty key play to set the whole thing up.
Agreed, and
or at least to leave the door open for something like that.
Well, and Baltimore already talked about it. If they scored that touchdown, they were going for 2.
Well, that was on the final drive.
Sure, but
not
in any
this
case,
one, but like the one where they drove down and he like
if they were going for the tie, right?
Well, and my son said he was like I think they're going to go for 2 if they score here. I think they're going to go for 2 if they score. And I was like, would you want to let Joe Burrow back on the field in overtime?
Nope.
Do you want to leave it like? Do you want to leave it up to like? And I know it's in the playoffs, so like now you get everybody gets a possession thing, so it's not quite the same as it used to be. Where it was like, do you want to leave it up to this coin flip? Where like if Joe Burrow gets the ball, like he's probably going to get you down there, and for all the issues Evan McPherson's had, like he can still hit long field goals. Like just don't put him in that extra point range. I mean, he's no Dallas Cowboys kicker, that's for sure.
Man,
that was a rough night.
Set the record before halftime.
And the one that clanged off the top of the upright should have been good. If the ball goes over the top of the upright, it's good. Because that happened to Evan McPherson last year. He kicked one over the top of the upright.
I wonder if if that rule changes though when it hits the upright.
Ooh, I don't know.
I don't know.
That's interesting.
In any case, the Bills are favored by 5 in this game. Joe has, at this point, I think it's safe to say, Joe's not been electric in any playoff game.
No,
not yet.
He's only
had one playoff game,
one playoff run. I mean, even going back to last year.
Oh, you're going all the way back to last year.
He was never electric. Even last year,
he
did enough.
We talked about it. Like last year was a defensive. Yeah,
he did enough. I'm curious to see if against the Bills, and knowing that their defense is not what the Ravens' defense is. It's not what. Who did he play last year? He played the Chiefs. He played the Raiders.
Titans.
He played the Titans. Their defenses were better than what I believe the Bills' defense might be this year.
I mean, even against, I mean, when you say electric, like, yeah, he didn't like put up anything like crazy gaudy, but like he had 209 yards. He had a 100 passer rate. Like,
I want to see something in that 275 to 300 range. I mean, show me what you got.
I hear you. I'm just saying, like the
if you're really supposed to be the guy, then it should not be won by the defense. We love that it's won by the defense because otherwise we lose. But I want to see Joe Burrow put the whole team on his back in a game and just do it.
Well, he probably could have done that in the second half of the game on Sunday, but his line is injured and he has to the quick outlets.
Do what you got, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens this week.
We got score predictions.
They're being given by ESPN's FPI 35%, roughly 35% chance to win the game. Again, -5.
Wait, the
Bengals are being
they are 34.5% chance to win the game.
Being shit on by ESPN's FPI.
Which is crazy. That's craziness.
Crazy.
Okay,
they were up 7-3 when DeMar Hamlin got injured. Is this the DeMar Hamlin game where the Bills go crazy? I don't know.
I mean, I think
is the NFL scripting it? Who knows?
I think the Bills already went crazy. The first game, I mean, the game when they had like 2 run backs and all kinds of other nonsense. Like, I think this is insane. This 65-35, like, that's insanity. Mm-hmm. I would have thought it would be like, maybe like 55, 45, like, you know what I mean? Like a little, some home field advantage, but I don't think it's that much.
And there is an 80% chance of snow, although it is less expected to be, I believe, right around an inch or less than an inch.
I mean, Josh Allen's a turnover machine.
Ed, who you got?
Bengals.
Score?
24-17.
Jeff, who you got?
Bengals. 28-14.
Just $1 me.
I'm gonna say Bengals. I'm gonna say 31-27. That I don't know. The 5-point spread scares me. Not that it would matter at that point if the Bengals win, but I don't know. It's gonna be a weird game. There's so many emotions running with DeMar Hamlin and everything that went on with that, and everything that has gone on with these two franchises over the course of the last couple of years. Shit's weird.
I mean, currently on the injury report. Let's see here. ESPN's full injury report. Nope, that's not what I want.
Chad, you still hanging around?
You got Jonah Williams now as capital listed. What? Oh,
I was just asking if Chad was still around to give a Bet Fred sports moment.
No. I mean, both teams are 5-0, and they're like, what kind of win streak here are the Bills on?
They've won a lot of games straight.
See, they keep flipping this stuff around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they're also on an 8-game winning streak.
Sorry, was making sure the kid was in bed and my fatherly duties for the evening were accomplished. I'm with Aaron here that I don't think like this is not gonna. I would be shocked if it's a low scoring game.
Oh, your cat's still in heat.
Oh yeah, that's like a week-long process.
Is that the cat?
Oh yeah.
Not the baby.
No, that's the
Cat's
cat.
cat.
I'm gonna go Bengals 34-27.
Okay.
I'm not putting money on this game. I keep losing it. And
I'll put money on this game.
I'll never be able to afford these Jordans.
Okay,
if I
Ed, bet on the Bills.
It's not nice, Chad.
Aaron, you missed it whenever I gave my score and Ed said, "Did you just $1 me?"
No, I heard it. I was
okay.
also giving my score at the same time.
It caught me off guard. It was pretty funny. It was a good one, Ed.
Thank you.
Well
Appreciate
done.
that. I'm over here trying to
All
fix
right.
my computer.
Ed, how about this? Just don't bet hella money.
What?
That's your advice from Geoff.
I was at
If I put money on
161.
this game, I'll cap myself at like $20-$25 on this game.
Yeah,
but
I don't bet on the
I'm
Bengals.
I'm not betting crazy money.
But
period.
Jeff was going to help me get those playoff 13s, so I just have to make sure I still have the money for that.
I'm trying to get those dunk lows on Thursday. Just saying.
Pandas?
Panda.
No way. Really?
I wouldn't get them either. I can't do white.
The lows? Yeah, give me the lows all day.
How about those tiger
Those
striped
are
ones I
so
sent
good.
you? Anyways, we have a
Working
shoe
on
set
that.
portion of the show now.
Yeah, we
working
do.
on that.
They're the plaid dunks are coming out tomorrow. Red and
Those are
red and
gross.
green.
Those are
Oh, they're so
Why are you going
nice.
to release red and green plaids after Christmas? This doesn't make sense. All right, moving on. Bearcats, they beat ECU this past week. They ECU 83-55. They also beat SMU 54-52, and they are going to be playing South Florida tomorrow night. How you guys feeling about this Cincinnati Bearcats team currently?
Do I have the wrong app? I don't see those on my sneakers app.
We'll talk about it later,
All right.
Ed.
What's the question,
Ed,
Aaron?
You're a big hoops guy. They beat ECU.
They did.
They beat SMU. They sneaked by SMU in a game that felt like it should have never been that close, but it was
No,
definitely
but
that
it felt
close.
right. It felt right. A blowout and then just barely sneak by. That felt about right.
I don't know.
So how
Chad
you-
made a good point about that game, saying that that's a game that they don't win a year ago.
It's a fair
I
point as
agree.
well.
I agree. But how are you feeling about them right now? Like DeJulius is clearly off. Davenport has his entire season has been a roller coaster. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Locken was a little off against SMU. Defensively,
Locked in
though,
for the next
defensively, he was Victor Blocken,
Hey,
courtesy
game. I like
Jeff.
that. No, I mean
What are we thinking?
it's not mid-season. I guess it's late mid-season, kind of low, right? I guess that kind of mid-season tiredness is hitting all of a sudden. You don't want to see that because we got Memphis coming up on the 22nd, and so you got to hope that we come out against South Florida tomorrow night.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you got to hope that we come out against South Florida tomorrow night and build up some of that confidence. One of those get-right games that we like to call.
Well, South Florida is maybe sneaky good. They
Yeah.
they had a 6-point lead with the under 8 against Houston.
I was watching that until halftime. Yeah,
They almost got beat by did they beat? No, they almost got beat by Temple. I think. I'm not sure if they beat Temple or close game against Temple. Regardless, which is a
lost to
team that
Temple.
beat Cincinnati. Okay, thank you. Close
By
game
4.
against Temple though, and this is a team that if you beat them, you have 3 wins before you host Memphis at home. So how important is this win?
no, it's super important because you need, like I said, you need that get right game. You need that bounce back before you play Memphis. Memphis being what, the second best team in the league right now. I haven't looked at standings in a while. Houston's number one, obviously, in the country. So they're obviously number one in our league. But
11-3, 1-0 in conference. Memphis
1-0.
Or wait a minute, that was their record.
Doesn't seem right, Dave.
They're
That doesn't
3
make
and they're
sense.
3-2 in conference. That was their record whenever they played South Florida. They only
3-2
beat
in
South
conference.
Florida by 7.
All right.
93-86.
So then, yeah, you need to get that get right game against South Florida going into that Memphis game. Memphis and Cincinnati, in the past, it's always been, we've had their number. And for Penny's first, what is he on year 4?
Roughly.
Roughly something like that. So his first 2-3 years, we've had
Memphis
his number.
is currently a half game behind UC. So
Oh, okay. That's just interesting stat. I should probably look at those standings a little bit more. But I mean, stop. Penny's starting to, get his team in order. I always hate losing to Memphis, so I'd rather not lose to Memphis.
It's a throwback jersey night.
Is it 92 jerseys?
It just says on the schedule. I'm looking at it right now. I'll show it.
Throwback jersey night. Thank you.
Throwback jerseys. Right there.
So is it the Cats jerseys?
aren't they gonna?
assume so.
Don't they have like the carpet and stuff that they're gonna roll out there and do all
Well,
that?
you put the carpet out
Maybe-
for every game now.
Maybe Memphis
Yeah.
wears the Memphis State in conjunction with the Cats. I don't know.
I mean, the type of relationship I have with Memphis. I'm still really mad at. I still hate. Hate is word.
which I wish I knew which player it was that looked at you and I and went like this.
I wish I remember that too. I also wish I knew what player, or if it was Penny's daughter or not, that was sitting behind us that tried to start a fight with us. When I told her boyfriend that she didn't want any of this heat. But I don't like Memphis. I don't want to lose to Memphis.
Did you threaten a girl, Ed?
No, I threatened the boyfriend. I said, "You don't want this heat." She was screaming in her ears. It's a long story. We talked about it in a podcast way back when. You can go back and listen to it. I'm not getting back into it. It was the same night
It wasn't me.
No, but he kind of encouraged it. If we're gonna be honest. Kind of encouraged it.
Am I an instigator? Absolutely.
Yeah, you definitely instigated it. But yeah, like I said, get right game against Florida so you can go into Memphis, beat Memphis. Maybe look, if we beat Memphis, you gain some more confidence to get that, 7-point loss against Houston. Maybe get that 7 points back and come back and beat Houston. It would be nice. Not saying it's going to happen, but in a perfect world, it would be nice to knock off the number one team in the country.
Yeah, if you can mess around and beat South Florida by a decent margin,
That's a huge confidence boost
great.
going into the end of the schedule and into the tournament in March.
Especially with Julius being off, if he can get right in this game against South Florida,
Which we need.
maybe that carries over against Memphis and Houston. You can't win this game. We've seen it happen in against SMU. We've seen it happen against Houston. Landers Nolly gets hot early.
Then
Teams
falls
take
off
him
in
out of the
second.
game. Teams take him out of the game.
John, we've discussed apparently Odie his controller dies a lot when he gets the ball underneath the
Yeah,
basket.
He's got the
haven't
it.
yet- the investigation is still out if it's the controller batteries or if the Monstars are back.
He's got the yips.
but-
Real bad. He's got the yips.
It's wild. It
But
is
I think
absolutely
that-
wild.
I think that against SMU, he had a layup that didn't look like it should have gone in. And it ended up being an and one. And I think that was probably a huge confidence boost to this guy who's been struggling under the rim.
So let me ask you this. Right now, the Bearcats are 13-6.
Hmm.
Got 12 games left in the regular season. How many wins do they need to end up with? I'm not going to run down and say win-loss against this team, that team, whatever, but
Yeah, that's not
how
fun.
many
Not for basketball.
no, how many wins do they need regular season to not have to win the conference tournament, or is it even possible to make the NCAA tournament?
You got to beat. I honestly, with the out of conference schedule, the way that it's been, you got to beat everybody. Like you've got to beat everybody. Like
yeah.
So you think they need to go 25-6?
Not necessarily 25-6, but you can't. You have to beat a Memphis. You have to beat a Houston. You have to beat a UCF. You have to beat a Tulane. Like you got UCF twice. Beat them twice. Like those are big wins at this point in the season. Memphis, you got Memphis twice. You have to beat Memphis twice. If you're going to lose to Houston again and again and again and again every time you play Houston, not looking forward to Houston being in the Big 12 with us at this point. But you have to beat these teams, and you have to figure out ways to beat these teams. So it's becoming a little alarming. They're not beating teams that are better than them, only because you're not going to make the tournament if you can't do that. Like they aren't figuring out ways to beat teams that they're supposed to lose to. So you've got to figure out those games, and you can't drop games to NKU. That loss looks worse and worse every day.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. That one doesn't look so great. 81-53 to Ohio State. Blech.
That's okay. I mean, Ohio State's been a top 25 team this season already, so that loss doesn't necessarily look so bad, but that NKU one, woof. But in any case, South Florida, get it done, get it right, get back home, beat Memphis at home, and things are trending up. Julius has to get right. Davenport's got to have a game, and he's about due because I feel like it's been a tennis match bounce back type thing for Davenport. So I don't know anything else you guys have on hoops.
Nope. No, I like the progression. I like what we're seeing from some of these recruits. Jizzle having his 40-point game the other night. 47-point game the other night.
While Wes was
looking
there.
Really good for us.
Wes and Chad Dollar were there in attendance while he had 47.
The future of the program is looking bright. All these people who kind of been calling for Wes's job, again, just need to buckle down.
I think that chatter has died down.
And be ready for the ride. Oh, it's definitely.
Day-Day!
What was that?
Day-Day.
You on Day-Day?
Day-Day? Who's Day-Day? What was that about? Anybody know what that was about?
I do.
Okay.
I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, so I'm trying not to.
Nope, that's enough.
Chad, come back.
Also, T. Gwynn, it's Aguilera, Aguilera.
Yeah, Bearcat Journal already took care of that.
Yeah, that was me.
That was Bearcat Journal.
Well, that was me. When I type in the
debatable.
chat here, it comes up as Bearcat Journal. So
That's debatable.
also on the hoop side,
needs more minutes.
On the hoop side, congratulations to DJ for the new job over at West Virginia.
Weird time of the season for.
Wes said that today.
I know he did. I watched the presser, and I don't love the timing of this.
I don't love the timing either, especially going into the Big 12 next year. So he's going to have a little inside baseball on us. But I mean, you got to like seeing a guy that you watched, growing up in high school, get a chance. So it's pretty cool.
Obviously, he wasn't going to get a benching job here, as being maybe second, third, fourth in line behind some of the other guys that are here between Thielen, Lepore, Adams, who knows where DeMar was to get a bench job in that regard, and it would have to come at the cost of losing somebody already on your bench. So you'd love to see that. Although I did see some Twitter. James White is not being quiet about
He wants
maybe
to be back
he's
here.
coming. Maybe he's coming back. So maybe you sub one for the other. They are very good friends. So maybe we would not be terribly upset if James White ends up coming back in that same type of role that DeMar had. So there is that.
As I've said on the board, I do not expect that job to be filled.
Yeah, you did say that on the board. And I
Like,
was
you don't
also
expect it to
joking.
be filled long term, or
It's
like,
not filled at all.
or okay.
They're already overstaffed in terms of like jobs there are to do in a college basketball.
There's Drew
like,
Adams
coaching
hiring.
department.
Yeah, the Drew Adams hiring.
Well, not just Drew, but you also have Chris Lepore and Jake Thielen like doing different things, but like that's normally one job. But they're both so good that Wes wanted them both in the program. Then you add Drew Adams on top of that. You essentially have, with Thielen, Lepore, and Adams, like a second assistant coaching staff already in place. Drew Adams has coached for almost a decade as a bench assistant and been an associate head coach. Chris Lepore was a bench assistant at Greensboro with Wes, and Jake Thielen has been the director of ops at Indiana and Georgia. So there's not necessarily a need to fill
DeMar spot.
that DeMar is leaving. And if you don't, then you can take all these qualified guys and give them a bump in pay.
That's fair.
So I don't think the spot, at least in the medium term, I can't say what happens 2-3 years from now, but I don't expect that spot to be filled because I think they've already got
Enough.
a killer support staff in place.
I also would like to give a shout out to Chris Lepore for showing Wes Miller my Mariah Carey video that I created and put on the internet.
It was good, Ed.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Just be interesting to see if they brought somebody else, a previous Bearcat, back on staff. But
I just don't think they're going. I don't think they're going to fill the spot.
Yeah, and also the tweet I put about Sean Kilpatrick filling that spot was completely a joke. It's getting a lot of traction. It was a complete joke. We all know that if there was going to be anybody to fill that spot, it'd probably be Quadri Moore.
That's a weird flex that you just did there.
it's never
But
going to be Quadri.
It'd be probably Quadri Moore.
Listen, I put this tweet out. It was a joke. It's getting a whole lot of traction. Joke. Just a
I mean,
joke.
I don't
It's
have the
getting
blue
a
check
lot
mark.
of traction.
I don't have the blue check mark, but it's definitely getting some traction. So
Probably would have got more if you had a blue check mark. Ed. Hi, Aaron. Did you just boot him?
that's rude. I just want you to know that. I'm sorry that you're paying $11 for nothing.
Not if you do it from your computer.
8.
You just got to do it from your computer, and it's still late.
All right. It's all right.
All
Did
right.
you ever get your legit blue check mark yet?
I have not. Thanks for asking. I don't know what that was about. In any case, little Reds talk. There was a rosy
See,
red.
Gwen, I did not put painter's tape on my beard.
Can neither be confirmed nor denied.
Ed's beard needs a blue check mark for how it refracts light. My lord, it's bright.
It does kind of look like painter's tape was. I mean, there is a very definitive line of demarcation.
How does that happen?
That's a good question.
They make just for men beard.
I've done that before. Don't you remember when I did that?
No.
We do.
Yeah, I did that before I went to Philly. I'm probably gonna do it again. It is.
That's weird.
Moving on. Rosy Reds luncheon. Phil Castellini made an ass of himself once again because that guy can't help himself but to be an ass.
Take a microphone.
I didn't even I saw that he apparently said some stupid stuff, but I didn't even look at it. I literally That's how little I care about whatever he has to say.
Yeah, it's just like adds on top of the other stupid stuff he says.
He said the Reds operate like a nonprofit. He says that baseball is an industry in crisis.
He made more excuses. What are you telling me?
That's correct.
Pretty much.
For why they're not able to compete.
That's correct. After last year, he said, "Where are you going to go?" He apparently made up stats that he put on a projector in front of everyone about teams that will not make the playoffs based on early in the season. Just made up stats. And it's become a huge clusterfuck.
Like, what do the minority owners think?
Why are we continuing to put Phil Castellini in front of people? Like, he is the sole reason that I have just abandoned purchasing Reds stuff. I will not purchase anything with the Reds logo on it because I don't want to give the Reds any money because of him.
I don't know.
What are we doing? The Reds are in an industry where baseball made, I believe, I want to say it was I thought it was, I saw a stat somewhere and I'm trying to recall off the top of my head. I don't know if it was every team made $11 billion based on like TV revenue alone, or there was something with $11 billion.
Right.
Regardless, baseball's still making money. The Reds are still making money. Why are they continuing to put this guy out in front of anyone to talk about the Reds? Who is Phil Castellini at this point in regards to the ownership group?
I don't know. But
look, at this point, I have more interest in FC Cincinnati.
Like, and that's craziness. It's true and it's crazy.
Yeah.
I get, and I don't even really know anything.
I get it.
I don't even really know anything about FC Cincinnati, to be honest.
Like, one of our players just got called up to try out for the men's national team.
Was it Vasquez? Is it Vasquez or Vasquez?
Vasquez?
The Reds are putting out the what is it where they do the
caravan?
Caravan.
Thank you. Yes. And there's no one on that staff of Reds players who have ever played a full season pro on the caravan.
Votto's not on the caravan?
There is no Reds player who has pitched in the pros on the caravan. What are we doing?
Aaron, we talked about it last year. It kind of is what it is.
It's time to sell.
Who would have thought? Yeah, I mean, and that used to be kind of a joke and like this like thing.
It was kind
like,
of a joke.
At this point, if you are literally going to stand up in front of people and say we just can't do it
with fake
call them non-profit.
With what we have, we just can't do it.
With fake bar graphs.
That's okay. That's okay. Thank you. Bye.
The problem is he knows there are a lot of diehards in the city who will continue to go to the games. The stadium's going to look horrible because there's not going to be anybody there except for these diehards. So you'll only have 5,000 a game.
The thing is, they don't need people to keep coming in as long as
because the money's just guaranteed.
They're buying season tickets, and
I know we don't like to necessarily pull back the curtain on pay for articles here. This comes from The Athletic. This comes from C. Trent. And I'm going to read this because this is the most disgusting part of this entire luncheon. Castellini celebrated the team's farm system and noted the team had promising prospects who would one day be great Reds, and then joked, then they'd be ex-Reds, saying, of course, we're going to lose them. What are we doing? What are we doing?
Like, at this point, let's trade Joey Votto to a contending team so the man can get himself a World Series before he retires, and let's just pack it in. Just pack it in.
He doesn't want to be traded.
I know, and we don't deserve that from him. Well,
If you
maybe us
trade
as
him,
fans do deserve that.
If you trade him, you're still going to have to eat his entire contract.
I don't care if they eat his entire contract. At this point, let's
I mean,
go
they're
ahead
just
and.
eating. I mean, there's not a lot of contract.
What else are we gonna do with the money?
No, there's not a lot of contract left. No, this is Votto's last year.
Yeah,
but there's not a lot of contract left on the books.
yeah.
The Reds don't owe anybody any money except for Joey Votto.
So well, they owe Moose money.
They paid Moose to leave.
I don't know.
Trade him, and
it is going to continue to get a lot worse before it gets any better.
It's probably going to get worse for 10 years. We'll be celebrating Raw 60 by the time this gets any better.
So long.
Well, looking at the lightning round, I don't think we have anything in there currently.
I think we hit a lot. We had some like ad lib lightning round throughout.
Yeah, chips and footballs. What the fuck?
And you have a bum of the week if we need to do that.
I think you just covered the bum of the week.
Phil Castellini.
Yeah. Bum of the decade.
Spoke to Ray Lewis after Darius Miles was arrested as he went through a similar situation.
Are you familiar with this?
No.
So Darius Miles plays basketball for Alabama.
Yeah, he went. Yeah,
not to be confused with the original Darius Miles, who
the
came
NBA
through the league
player.
already.
Yeah. He gave a gun to a guy,
and the guy killed somebody.
Yeah, on the strip.
Yeah, in Tuscaloosa. What the hell's the strip in Tuscaloosa? How about Nate Oates calling Ray Lewis and being like, "Hey, remember that time you were involved in that murder and you got out of it?" Like,
did he run somebody over with his car?
No. Ray Lewis?
I thought Ray Lewis hit somebody with his car and murdered him.
No, it was a weapon situation that I think it might even have been a knife, but like it was a weapon situation where somebody died and it was Ray Lewis's weapon. And then some people took the fall and Ray Lewis got off and, essentially was exonerated.
So my dude called Ray Lewis up and was like, "Hey, can you talk to this guy?"
Yeah, no. Can you tell me how you got off? Like, what did it take for you?
Call his lawyer. Call his lawyer. Don't call him.
Essentially, what did it take for you to get out of this murder rap?
Lawyer up, bro. Money. Quick Google search. Lawyer up.
That's a bold move. I bet Nate Oates is not real happy that went public.
I wonder who dropped that public.
Right? Like, I would guess that's not something that they're real happy with.
Somebody's getting fired soon.
Yeah, not great. Not great.
That's the only other person you could call a bum of the week is that guy who went after Stinson.
Stinson
Bennett? For being on his cell phone. Yeah, Stinson Bennett.
It was just a funny little back and forth between.
I mean, there's a couple bums out there I could think of.
Roger Goodell for this game being in Buffalo.
They're already planning for Buffalo and
all the teams are selling AFC Championship tickets already.
But hey, you can't write a better script.
But Roger Goodell selling
John Harbaugh, that guy is a bum. The poor lady is just trying to do a halftime interview. And
it was like a mid-game interview, right? It wasn't even halftime.
Yeah, it wasn't even halftime yet.
And
he had to go.
Sucks. His brother sucks. The whole Tom Crean sucks. The whole family sucks.
We're going to add John Harbaugh to the list of people who can meet me in Washington Park. If you know, you know.
Roger Goodell for this game being in Buffalo, considering that Cincinnati was up 7-3 when shit went down in a game that was more electric, apparently in person, than even the playoff game was, from every account that I've read. I'm just saying. That was another episode of Part of the Punctuation.
One more thing. I have one more thing I like to rant about real quick. Like, can we stop dropping F-bombs after every other word in Bengal spaces on Twitter? Like, I would like to just listen
Probably
to a
not.
space with people talking like adults about Bengals football.
Look,
You wonder why you got banned once.
I struggle to not drop F-bombs in this space. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Well, who knew they put a fucking chip in a football?
That'll do it for part of the punctuation. For Ed Mayhall, for Jeff Howe, for Chad Brindle. This was another episode. Tune in next week, 9:15-ish, and we'll be there with all of your Bengals playoff recaps, Bearcats recaps, and all of the rest that entails. See ya!
Bye.
Ba-dum-bum.